Welcome to the deep dive. So today's mission, it's pretty different. We're not digging into stats or politics.
No spreadsheets today.
Definitely not. We're diving into this collection of sources, audiobook bits, song lyrics, video notes that are incredibly personal, really artistic, and just raw.
Mm-hmm.
And it all circles around this one powerful idea: transformation, redemption, and how it can all be sparked by the arrival of one child.
That's exactly it. We're looking at the artist Carnage Wright, sometimes known as Carnage 1nOnly, and this really profound shift in his identity.
Right.
It's basically a real-time look at how his daughter, Serenity, became the absolute focus of his life, how she made him kind of redefine everything.
It's an amazing story, really.
It is,
Yeah.
and it shows that sometimes the biggest changes, they don't happen on some grand public stage. They happen quietly, privately, because of love, because of presence.
Okay, so let's unpack that a bit. When you pull all this material together, the main question seems almost simple but huge at the same time. How can one tiny human have that much power? Enough power to completely rewire who someone is? How does a whole life of what he called a tempest, all that chaos,
Storm.
how does that get reshaped into what he now calls his Serenity prayer?
Well, to really get the impact, you have to understand the before, who he was.
The Carnage identity.
Exactly. And the sources are really clear that name wasn't just for show. It wasn't just marketing. It was described as a badge of battles he had fought and scars that he'd carried.
Wow. So deeply personal.
Very. His life was described as this storm of raw emotion, always looking for release, finding comfort in loud chords and fleeting moments, just constantly dealing with this internal chaos.
Yeah.
That identity was built on conflict, on just surviving.
Okay, knowing that really puts the transformation into perspective. It makes it seem so much more dramatic.
It does.
Because Serenity's arrival, it's painted as more than just, having a baby. It's like it literally rewrote his reality.
Yeah, the sources say she arrived on a Tuesday morning, bathed in the hesitant light of a new dawn.
Nice phrasing.
It is. And the feeling you get is that the second he held her, that old battleground inside him, it just wasn't the main thing anymore.
So it wasn't just like new parent hormones.
Partly not just that. The sources frame her as representing this unconditional future, something his past, his carnage, couldn't taint.
Interesting. Like she separated the trauma from the purpose.
Exactly. The pain was history, but the purpose was right there in his arms.
Yeah.
And her name, Serenity. That became his goal. It was an aspiration, a promise, a prayer, and its answer, all wrapped up in one.
And this central metaphor he uses, serenity as the rainbow. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that. It's beautiful. But why a rainbow? Why is that the perfect symbol for his redemption arc?
Right. It's not just poetry. It's key because, well, think about it. You can't have a rainbow without the storm coming first.
Ah, okay.
It only shows up when the conditions, the heavy rain, which represents his past chaos, his tempest, are over, then the light can come through.
So she doesn't erase the storm.
No. She validates it. She shows that his history wasn't just wreckage he needs to forget or feel guilty about. It was the necessary setup for the light for her. She's the living proof that he made it through.
That's powerful. Let's slow down here because there's this one specific story, this anecdote, that seems to capture the moment everything clicked internally.
Yes.
It wasn't just a slow dawning. It was like a hammer blow of truth, the sources say. He was apparently really struggling, those old demons whispering, telling him the chaos was still the real him.
Yeah, sitting there, guitar quiet, just lost in it.
And
then Serenity, who's barely 5 years old at this point, she just clambered right onto his knee, didn't offer advice, didn't try to cheer him up in a complicated way. She just stated this simple, incredible fact.
And the quote itself it's just so direct. She said, "I know I'm your rainbow, and that mom was the storm you made it through."
Just imagine hearing that. For someone carrying all that guilt, all that self-judgment about his past, hearing those words from his own child.
It's not just cute.
It's absolution. Delivered by the future he created. She wasn't judging the mess. She was celebrating that he survived it, that he made it through. That's the critical part.
So forget therapy, forget time healing all wounds in that moment. It was her innocent truth that just shattered that tough exterior he'd built up.
Precisely. He told a mentor later she was literally his serenity prayer and his remedy.
Wow.
And the insight there, I think, is that she gave him permission to see his past, not as failure, but as the groundwork needed for the present he now cherished.
That reframing is huge, but Life isn't always rainbows, right?
Right.
Even with this new center. The sources mention that this Serenity isn't immune to pain, especially the pain of absence.
That's right. We see that in the ballad reading material. When she's grounded or just away from him, that distance feels enormous. As vast, unbridgeable as the sky itself, is how it's put.
It's that classic paradox of deep love, isn't it? The very person who centers you,
Mm-hmm.
their absence creates the biggest void. The material talks about a silent, aching void.
And that ache, that void, it gets anchored in these really specific symbolic objects he keeps around.
Okay, like what?
Well, first there's this dry rain stick on his desk. It's described as old homemade bamboo, some faded glitter, you can see your imprint on it.
A kid's craft project.
Sounds like it. But the point is, it's currently hollow and quiet. It mirrors the quiet in his own heart when she's not there.
And he listens to it. Or for it.
He listens for the sound it usually makes. That soft sound, like the rainfall of lullabies. So the rain stick, when it works, it's the sound of her presence, of comfort. When it's dry, silent. That silence is the absence. It's tangible.
That's quite poetic, actually, the sound of absence.
And then you contrast that with the rainbow roller skates.
Ah, the rainbow theme again?
Exactly. They were apparently the perfect gift for her. An unapologetic explosion of color. The sources really stress that she wasn't just wearing the rainbow symbol. She was the rainbow, the embodiment of that light and joy after the storm.
So these objects, the rain stick, the skates, they really underline how powerful her influence is, even when she's not right there.
Definitely. It speaks to that deep, almost gravitational pull toward a beloved person, someone who just means the world. Her light is the constant, even if it feels distant sometimes.
And this profound emotional shift, it had to affect his work, right? His art, his music.
Oh, absolutely. It was unavoidable.
Yeah.
His music started to change. It softened around the edges, is one description. It got deeper, filled with this vulnerable honesty he had previously hidden.
So less of the carnage persona?
Less of the defensive posture, maybe. Those loud chords he used before, maybe as a shield. They started to give way to something more reflective, more open.
You can really feel that shift towards vulnerability. Instead of masking pain with aggression, he starts to actually confess things. There's that lyric you pulled from his last album.
Right. I made some bad decisions, but I ain't a bad man.
That's a huge admission.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's him reconciling with himself, but it feels like it's facilitated entirely by being her father. She is the living proof of his redemption. He had to believe a better version of himself was possible because she needed that version.
Okay, but hang on. Is it really presented as that clean? Like she says the rainbow thing and boom, he's fixed? Or was it more like that moment just opened the door to a much longer, maybe messier healing process?
That's a really important point. No, it wasn't an instant fix. The sources balance the profound devotion with the everyday reality.
Right, because you see both extremes. You see him saying things like, fearing his last breath and wanting to use it just to say, I love you again. That intense devotion.
Deeply intense.
But then you also get these glimpses of just normal life, grounded, candid moments.
And that juxtaposition is crucial. It keeps the story real.
Right.
We see the everyday stuff, the co-parenting, the routines, like him telling her to watch your step when she's heading out, just normal dad stuff.
Yeah, and the teasing, calling her a stinky or a pooping curd,
Yeah.
affectionate, funny, real.
Exactly. Those details matter because they show the transformation isn't just some abstract spiritual thing. It's built in these small daily interactions. It makes the serenity feel achievable, built on laughter and routine, not just grand epiphanies.
Okay, that makes sense. It connects the big internal shift back to the external day-to-day reality.
Right. And the later source material shows he's still wrestling with things internally. It mentions this ongoing monumental struggle and serene acceptance. It's not like the struggle just vanished.
You see that in some lyrics, right? Things like fly away, night of days, and that line about ego's confections conflicted.
Yeah, the ego's confections conflicted line is fascinating.
What do you think that really means for him? Is he fighting the old carnage brand, the public image? Or is it more about his own internal sense of self, the one Serenity is helping him rebuild?
I think it's got to be both, right? His ego, his sense of self was built on being the survivor, the fighter, the guy who endured the tempest.
Right, the tough guy.
And Serenity's presence, her truth, it demands a different identity. A softer one, maybe. The protector, the redeemed father. The confections are those maybe. Sweet lies the ego tells itself to keep going in the old way.
Like, I have to be tough.
Yeah, or conflict is who I am. Her simple truth puts those ideas into conflict. He has to let go of the self that needed the storm to feel real.
But the resolution isn't about fighting anymore, is it? It pivots. Her truth leads him towards acceptance. Just live your life authentically.
Exactly. The focus shifts completely. Stop battling the past. Start celebrating the future you see in her face, her brave, intelligent face.
And that final instruction he gives her, it kind of sums it all up perfectly.
It really does. It acknowledges the world is tough, but reinforces her power, her impact on him. He tells her, go watch your step and never be scared. You are the rainbow, the one that always follows.
She's both the anchor and the light.
Beautifully put.
So looking back at all these sources, this whole deep dive, it really shows that identity isn't static, it's not fixed. Parnage Wright's story is powerful proof that love, especially this kind of fierce, vulnerable, paternal love, it can genuinely be the engine for massive change, for redemption.
It absolutely can. And that brings up a question maybe for you listening right now. We've seen how Serenity was his rainbow, how she helped him navigate the storm, how she became that steady point, keeping his world turning, even when things felt hollow, like that rain stick.
Yeah.
So for you, what is it? Is there a person, or maybe even a symbol, in your own life that acts like that anchor, that keeps your gears turning, keeps you centered, especially when the storm clouds gather?
It's worth thinking about. Take a moment, consider those people, those influences you cherish, the ones that define your world in fundamental ways. We love you to infinity. Be blessed, be kind, be yourself.